Talking about road paving?
Traffic lights.
It's the improvements, I think.
Yeah, no. Good.
It's gotta be past 7, no? Yeah. Two doing down there.
Would you tell Sid to text me?
Is he talking to you?
No, Sid used to do that to me all the time when he was chief.
Besides, it's really.
Thanks, you.
Text me
John,
at a meeting.
okay.
One more moment.
Just in time.
Getting traffic over there?
A little,
Good to go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 7 PM. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call to order this meeting of the town council. The first item of business is announcement. I have none. Is there any announcement that needs to be made by members?
Only announcement I'll make is the clerk putting an arrow on my head.
Sorry,
Meeting.
you did warn me. I apologize.
I'll second that embarrassment.
Thank you.
Warned me, I'm sorry.
The next item of business is approval of the minutes of September 21st.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have before us 6 department head reports, that of the clerk, the assessor, the building official, the fire chief, the administrator, and the director of public works.
Motion to place all department head reports on file unless somebody wants to pull one for discussion.
I'm gonna pull one second.
Motion is made and seconded. A counselor wishes to pull a report. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I know we're in for a very long meeting, so I'll make this short. The road, Tony, town administrator's on road paving. Since Kevin Aguirre, Beta Group has recommended that John Dyer Road, Townway, and Taylor's Lane be considered for paving next spring. Townway and Taylor's Lane are also part of the grant funding through Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank. I just wanted to get it clear in the timeline. I talked to Don Maderas today, doing the engineering on Townway. He informed me that his engineering is complete within the next 2 days, and he's going to send it to the town. My guess is that's going to be on our next meeting for us to, for the council to look at the engineering and have Don explain it to us and to the people that live there and the town, and then we'll vote on what to do with it. He said that it's in CRMC, it's going to go to CRMC, and there'll be no cost because it's a municipality. So I just wanted to make everyone aware that I think that's going to be the timeline for this.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Well, you pretty much stated what the timeline will be in terms of he has to come before the council and explain where it's being proposed. Yeah, that's correct. And the next thing that would follow would be to draft an RFP. Obviously, he has the scope of work, then I'll be drafting an RFP. So the likelihood you will see that in November, you'll see an RFP before the council for the construction.
Right. So I think that'll be on 10/19, that'll be on our agenda for him to discuss in detail and be specific what's going to happen down there. And we're going to decide as a committee if we want to go forward with that or not, go forward with an RFP or not, or if we want to change it or send it out somewhere else to be spiffed up or not. So I think that's an important date for people that are interested in.
I would say that's correct. The thing is, you're stating a few things there that I'm not so sure that would stand correct. Yes, he would come before you to whether you want to approve that or not, the work that needs to be done. However, we are on the hook to get work done on it to do storm drainage. So with that being said, there has to be some sort of an agreement as to how we go forward. What is the scope of work, I would say,
And that's what he's going to present.
right?
So, if we have questions or we want more engineering or, so I just wanted to make that clear that that's coming up, probably our next meeting.
I would say I did send a message to him. I have not had a chance to speak with him, which I intended to do to follow up by tomorrow, because I need to know where are we, because the grant it runs out December 31st.
I happened to talk to him today.
Right.
So I was at the Ag Trust meeting and Town Way came up. And so I talked to some people about it and I gave him a call today and he's complete. He's ready to send it in to you.
I have a question. May I?
Please.
Sal Marinosi from Town Way and Oliver Lane. I had discussed the whole project with Don Maderos continuously through this. And while I didn't have any questions about the drainage because it's pretty cut and dry, I did have questions about the end and the access to the water. And we had submitted a small drawing to him with timbered guardrail at the end of Town Way with a limited access to the water so vehicles wouldn't go down and bring trailers or anything down there. And a place for a handicap parking and also a spot for signage. And I do have the CRMC signage and the planning board signage with me, if you want a copy of it. Pardon me. And I thought that could be done all in the same package. In other words, if we're going to have the drainage done, the earthwork done, have the guardrail placed, the signage done, and then we don't have to go back there anymore.
Anticipating that this will be on the 19th of October agenda, I would be grateful for you to submit those things that you've just mentioned so that we can include that in the total package that we'll be considering.
Okay.
And
One other question, I mean, to interrupt you, Sal. When Don Maderas submits his engineering for this project before the 19th, I know the packet goes out 48 hours before the meeting. If we get that before, can people that live down there view that? Or do we have to wait till it goes in the packet before it becomes public?
As soon as it's submitted to the town, it's a public document.
Okay, so if he brings in his engineering, like he told me, within a few days, what's today, Thursday, so Tuesday or whatever, you can look at it before, so you don't just get it before the meeting and have to run through it. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. Would you want those, that submittal of the verbiage of the sign from the planning board, from the comp plan and from CRMC's
description of that.
description? I have that with me.
Yes, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions with respect to this? The matter is not before us, so I would prefer not to.
Okay.
We'll keep this in, and this will be distributed separately from this meeting to the members of the council in advance of the meeting.
I have another question on.
Yes, go ahead.
The Community Learning Center funding
Yes.
for the administrator. So the $318,000 that we've been allocated, is the application just a formality to be able to access that money, or do we?
Correct.
Okay,
Right.
so it's pretty sure that we'll have access to it after we submit the application.
Once we submit the application and we comply with all that is required.
Right.
And what sort of improvements can be made to the community center with that funding?
The community kitchen is a primary thing. The walk-in cooler because there has been a request for additional meals and they just haven't been able to fulfill that because of the limitations that they have. So there would be windows, much needed. Right now, it's cost them quite a bit of money to sustain, the heating bill. Let's see, generator, much needed as well, to make sure that the center is functional
Yeah.
at all times.
So they're hoping to expand their ability to provide more meals out of the kitchen
That is
by
correct.
increasing the capacity there. Okay, that's great.
That's
And-
one of the primary goals, in addition to all the others. Right.
And these candidate elements of the project have been briefed to those at the state who are in charge of approving it, and they are aware of what we're proposing to do with the community center and are at least in agreement with the suitability of those kinds of requests. So
Thank you.
we don't anticipate being told, no, that's off the table, that's not able to be included.
They actually have extended the deadline, it was supposed to be on the 10th, now it's through the 13th, Friday the 13th.
Any other questions regarding the department head reports? Are you ready to vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next item is that of new business. A letter of resignation has been received from Craig Curtis, resigning from the Budget Committee in accordance with the charter. The vacated position is to be filled by the unelected candidate with the highest number of votes from the most recent election. That person is Peter Bermudez, who is willing to fill the unexpired term. And that term goes to May 15th, 2025.
I'd like to move that we send Craig Curtis accept his resignation with regret and send him a letter of appreciation, and also appoint Peter Bermudez to the Budget Committee.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next item of business is as sitting as the Board of License Commissioners were requested by the clerk to advertise to hear those applications received for the renewal of retail beverage licenses, and hear that during a hearing to be held on November 2nd, 2023 for the license period.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The consent file.
Motion to place consent file on, consent calendar on file unless anybody wants to pull it.
Second.
Discussion on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Bob, I have
Go ahead.
a future agenda item. Is that something I could say now?
Sure, if I could just get the final one on this
Sure.
agenda, and then I'm fine with that. Are we good with that? Payment of bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. There being no further business before the meeting, before the council, I would declare this meeting adjourned and ask the counselor for his input, and please continue the
Continue.
video. For
It's
the-
a future agenda item, maybe for next meeting or the next meeting. If I count correctly on my fingers, it's been 6 months since we've had our new solicitor. And my recollection is that we have to review him after 6 months. So, if you want to get some dates together to do that. I also think a couple of things would be helpful for me. I'll speak for myself. Maybe the finance director could get the bills, the legal bills from 6 months last year and 6 months this year, so we have something to compare it to. And I'd like to get the planning board and the zoning board and the beach commission to see how they feel the solicitor has been helpful for them or not helpful for them. I'd like to get their input, so we have that also when we interview him. Thanks.
Administrator.
Well, I'm not sure, did you bug my office today?
What's that?
Did you bug my office today? You didn't. Because that's exactly the conversation I had with the president, is that to reach out exactly to the various groups that have made use of the solicitor, but also to come up with, we actually have a spreadsheet, and I can provide that information.
Do we want to set a date for that, or while we're all here?
Fine.
Maybe before the next meeting? I don't,
Meeting's fine.
At the meeting.
you want to do it before the meeting?
Well, I'm assuming this is going to be an executive session.
It will.
Okay. Before the meeting's fine.
6 o'clock on the 19th.
Fine with me.
Good here. Anybody that has a problem with that? 6 PM on the 19th
I
for an
made,
executive session in which would be covered under the exemption provided for discussion of personnel performance.
6 PM.
Yep.
That's cutting it close for work, but I may be late, but I should be able to make it.
All right, we'll convene if we're able to, a quorum before that, and we'll have you.
Yeah, you can
join.
start without me.
All right. Any other questions on that?
Mr. President, I won't be here because I'll be at the trust
Yep.
that day, so I'm not sure if that, weighs in at all on the decision for that, to hold the meeting.
You and I can have a conversation perhaps before that, so as to,
Okay.
I can gather your inputs.
We could just get that data before, before 2 days before would be good. So we can go over it, maybe on the weekend before.
Any further discussion on that? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you to the public for joining us and to those who are joining us online. We appreciate your participation.